Okay, sorry everyone. Okay. So, okay, now that we're back, are there any more ambassadors that would like to ask anything? Because
I have a question.
okay. Sorry,
I have a question.
Hi.
Hello. My
Hello.
question is, what advice will you give to the young ambassadors who don't have a future ambition yet?
To do everything and anything, really. Like when I was in secondary school, at the beginning of each year, they gave us kind of like a timetable of all the after school clubs. And that was just it had so many different options, like different sports, debate team, arts and crafts, just everything. And then at the end of it was homework club. And I just didn't want to spend my time just doing homework club. So I basically ticked something different from Monday through to Friday. And then through that, I just started to find things that I enjoyed, really. I hope that's helpful. But yeah, I think just like when you're younger, with like all the different subjects, just put everything into every subject. Because I think through that, you'll come to realize what you just naturally enjoy more.
Okay, thank you.
Does anybody else? Okay, good. Does anybody else have any other question? Let you know once somebody stops, just ask another question, please, ambassadors, so that it just keeps on flowing.
Yeah. So good day. I have a question. Like, so I've seen your videos on IG and your pictures on IG. I'm into the entertainment. I'm an entertainment lawyer. Yeah, I want to ask a question. Yeah, so aspiring entertainment lawyer. So I want to ask a question. When you get a role, do you guys sign a contract? Yeah.
Congratulations. Sorry, did you say you're an aspiring lawyer?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. So what was your question?
Yeah, so like when you get a role, do you sign a contract? Like, do you have a legal agreement?
Yeah, but basically, I think that's just the standard, really. When you get a role, you just sign a contract. Even sometimes, like, even if it's not paid, you still have to sign it just as an agreement of I'm going to be fully committed to this, and I'm going to attend these rehearsals, just to make sure that it's the best it can be.
Okay. Are there like long-term contract that you sign, like for a period of time, like maybe like for like 6 months, 4 months on a given role?
Yeah, I think the longest contract that I've had to sign was for the rep company that I was just part of. So we started in May last year, and then we didn't finish until January this year. And yeah, so that was like 9 months. So they just kind of made us sign a contract just to make sure that we didn't sign on to any other projects during that time, because they cast us we were in a company of 16, and we did 3 shows. So if any one of us dropped out halfway through, it would have really messed it up for the rest of the company. We had to sign a contract just to show that we were dedicated to the company.
Wow. All right. Thank you.
It's all good.
Does anybody else have any questions? No one? Toire, what sorts of like projects could you run for young kids? I mean, even virtually, to actually encourage them in any sorts of like ideas or ambitions to actually get into acting? Because I guess what tends to happen with me is this: because people know that I'm your mom, I should actually start signing contracts, because They keep on approaching me, asking me for advice, or in relation to you. Like, oh yeah, it's like, keep on having people stopping me in the streets. People that knew you when you were in primary school and secondary school, stopping me, asking how they can actually get their children into acting. So I'm like, what advice am I meant to be giving them? What should I do? I can't be signposting everybody to you because I know how busy you are. What sorts of things can you do to actually guide young people, maybe virtually, so that you're actually connecting one-on-one? Do you have the time? Do you have the means? Is it logical?
Yeah, no, do you know what? I'm super happy to talk to young people who are interested. I just find maybe if it was on a one-on-one basis, or maybe just like a collective, maybe group call just like this, because I tend to find that one person will ask a question and it's very similar to what another person will ask. But just for now, for the purposes of this call, I would say that if you are still in school and you're interested in getting into the industry, I mean, obviously right now, there's not a whole lot you can do, but just auditioning for school shows, that's a good start. Just getting an idea of what it is like to be on stage, performing in front of your parents and friends and family. And then there should be a youth club or a youth theatre close to you, so auditioning for that. And then I think from there you just kind of build, and you just slowly get to learn more about what acting entails. And then by the time you reach the end of secondary school, if you feel like drama school is the next step, then from that point I feel like you would have had enough experience from school and from youth clubs and stuff to see if that's something you want to continue.
Thank you, Tiwa. And you tend to have a few students, for instance, right, that are actually considering going to drama school rather than going to university. I remember when you were trying to, when you were actually going in for all your auditions, and I remember when you applied to RADA here in England, and you were being advised that you had to wait until you were 21, was it? Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
And you were 18 or going on 18?
17. Yeah.
You're 17. Good. What sort of advice would you give to young people like that actually are being turned away from drama schools and would rather go to a stage school rather than go to university?
Well, what do you mean? What do you mean a state school?
No, a drama school like you went, rather than say stage school, I should say drama school. Because remember, you were not keen on going to university, even though you were accepted at Manchester University. You were like, okay, you definitely didn't want to go to university. You wanted to go to drama school. What advice would you give to young people that want to step up on their education in drama? Their focus is on drama, but they don't want to go to university, just like you didn't. They want to go to drama school, but they don't want to wait 2, 3, 4 years before they get in. What can they do?
Okay. I'm not too sure what it's like. The thing is that, okay, so I'm going to give the advice based off me being in London. And the young companies in London are really good. They offer, and I'm talking about young companies where the age range is from 18 to 25. Because what you tend to do is you tend to go in, you get to know the company of it, I'd say around about 16 to 20 people. And the director has usually worked in London and is tends to be quite known amongst in the industry. And then you tend to get a text, and then you get cast in it, and then you get to perform on a London stage. And then through that you can invite people from the industry, like agents and casting directors and producers and everything. And even if you don't get signed on by an agent or get cast in another show, these people now are kind of getting an idea of who you are. Yeah, I mean, in terms of if you're in England, then I'd highly recommend National Youth Theatre. I'm a part of their organisation, and they have so many opportunities within that. So that's a really good start.
Thank you so much. Questions, because I remember I missed you the last time. Do you have any questions? And Tiwa, it might take a minute or two because people have to unmute their phones
Yeah.
to respond to you. Okay. Oh, they're probably not on.
Hello,
Joshua, do you
Tiwa.
have any questions?
Good evening.
Who is that? Is that Feno or is it Joshua?
Yes, it's me. It's
Okay.
Fermi.
Okay.
Yeah.
Feno me. Okay. Go on. Feno me, do you have a
Yes.
question?
Okay. Hey, wanted to ask Tiwa. What would you say? Yes, I have a question. That's why I muted my mic. Hello. Okay. Yes. Sorry.
Thanks, oh Feno me. You get, I'll deal with you later. Go on.
Yeah, stop. Actually wanted to ask, what would you say, or who would you say is your most favorite African playwright?
Oh, African playwright.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a really good question. I'm gonna go off this based off.
Sorry.
I'm gonna go off of based. I'm gonna go based off of what I've seen as well. Because that might help. I think I'm gonna go for Debbie Tucker Green. Actually, is she African? I think she's Jamaican. Does that count really? I'm gonna say. Pardon?
Shoot. Okay.
Debbie Tucker. Yeah, I saw her play.
No, I'm listening to you.
Yeah, I saw her play last year. It was called Ear for an Eye. And it was really good. Funnily enough, with everything that's going on about right now, it's about like racism and what it's like growing up as a Black person in the UK and in the States, and just looking at those differences and how it affects you for the rest of your life. It was really deep and it was really good.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks, Jeremy.
Hi, it's Tanya. Sorry, my audio got cut earlier. Hi, I'm Tanya, DIL Ambassador. Earlier, my question was, you talked about writing. So could you tell us a little bit more about that? Is that always a passion you always had, or something you discovered from not going to Homework Club?
What was the last bit, sorry?
Or is that or is writing something you discovered from not going to Homework Club?
I like that. Okay. So writing, I've always loved writing. Even when I was at school, when I was in English classes, whenever we got to like the section of creative writing, I just always loved that. And yeah, on all kinds of levels, whether that was me being able to write a short story, or even just writing for like my group in a presentation, or if I got to do like a little bit of journalism, I always just enjoyed writing. And then as time went on, I just focused more and more on acting. And then it wasn't until I graduated from drama school when I started writing my first play, because I guess it's just like my mind to clear. And I was like, okay, cool. What other things can I tap into now? So yeah, and then when I went to Nigeria, that was kind of all I was really focused on. And then it kind of, then I realized I could do both hand in hand, and it worked. So yeah, I guess the passion for writing grew as I got older.
Oh wow, now I have two questions for you. You mentioned your first play in Nigeria. Which would you like to tackle first? Let's go for Nigeria. What was your experience like in Nigeria in relation to acting? What did you discover in comparison to what you've learned?
Yeah, so what to hear?
That's not too many questions.
Okay, so what did I discover within the acting industry whilst I was in Nigeria?
Yes.
Oh, do you know what? I think my first experience whilst I was there was actually quite traumatic and a little bit disheartening, if I'm going to be honest with you. I think because whilst I was in New York, that was a time when I don't know, I say this to everyone. When I moved to New York, that's when I actually started to like fall in love with myself for the first time. Because growing up in Northampton, I very much felt other, like throughout my whole life. Like I was always like the darkest girl. I was always like the biggest girl. My hair was afro. Like none of my other friends were like black. So I always, and when I grew up, like in the industry, Black women weren't ever seen as beautiful. Like they were never the main characters who had like a love interest, or they were just never seen as being, you know, good looking. So I was always the people like Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera. I guess the only Black women that I saw that I could look up to was Beyonce. But even then, I didn't look like her, so I just felt ugly. So it wasn't until I went to New York where, for the first time, people were being praised and, you know, seen as beautiful no matter what color their skin was, or, you know, if they were skinny, if they were curvy. And it was just like a massive awakening, and I started to grow a lot more confidence. And I remember when I came back to Northampton for like a summer, and all of my friends were saying, oh my gosh, like, we thought you were confident before, but you're so much more confident now. And not in a cocky way, but just like, I looked in the mirror and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm actually feeling myself, kind of thing. So that, and it's so crazy to think that didn't happen until I went to New York. So then I don't know what it was, but because obviously growing up my whole life, I saw myself as other because I was the only Black person in a social group. I thought, oh no, when I go to Nigeria, like, that confidence is even going to elevate because I'm just going to be surrounded by Black people, like people that literally look like me. But then when I got to Nigeria, I found this other really weird, like, I don't even know what the word is, but it was just complex in the sense of now there's this thing about being light skin and dark skin. And if you were dark skin, yet again, you were seen as not being beautiful. And I was like, but I don't get it because all these people are Black. So I don't understand why there is this weird complex issue. And I remember meeting up with this actress, and she was basically saying to me like, oh yeah, like you're not going to really be cast as any good roles because you're dark skin. And I was looking into it and I saw that Nigeria actually has the highest percentage of skin bleaching in Africa. And I noticed that a lot of women weren't rocking like natural hair or even braids. Like they all had like wigs and weaves and like were relaxing it. So basically what I'm saying is that wherever you go, you're going to find some sort of issue. And that was the issue that I came to when I was in Nigeria. But then when I flip it to the positive, what I loved when I was watching it is that even though like Nollywood has gotten bigger and bigger like each year, like the amount of money that they gain in, and they've got films now on Netflix, like they're not joking around. But what I love is that when I do see the trailers for these films, or when I watch them, is that they're not losing their culture. They're not trying to please the white man. They're keeping like the accent, the language, what do you call it, the Nigerian attire, the food, like they're not losing any of that, which is great. And yeah, I hope that answers the question.
Tiwa, I think I'm going to ask what might be seen as a personal question, but it's not necessarily personal. How did you deal with having a strict parents while you were growing up and trying to focus on your acting? Not that was strict, but let's pretend I was.
So I don't understand what your question is.
Okay. Okay, let's try to open it up. How do you deal with parents that are actually on the level of like a child should focus on one career path than the one the child wants to focus on? Because when you were growing up, we had a few people that used to think that it's like, you know, they believed you were lucky for the fact that you had the parents that could allow you to do what you wanted to do. But it's like, you know, we seem to have like an eccentric way of working together with the way out, you know, the way you guys were being brought up. Because to me, focusing on what you love was obviously going to bring the best out of you. We always had like that talk about the egg. It's like, you know, when you crack an egg from the outside, you're more or less like, you know, you're killing the passion. But if an egg hatches from the inside, then you're actually bringing out the best of you. How were you coping in the school, and, you know, how would you advise parents with regards allowing their child to be? And how would you, you know, advise children that want to be but are being restrained by their parents? What can they do? Yeah, I love it when I give you questions that you can't answer. At least for once, you're quiet. Think about it.
Do you know what? It's so hard, because at the same time, I understand why a parent would want to push their child into being a lawyer or a doctor or an engineer, or, you know, a teacher or something, because the thing is that I don't want to downplay that career path, because I know being any one of those things is hard in their own ways. Like, there are so many levels to it, and even when you like get there and you get the certificate, there are still other levels above that as well to achieve, just to do better. But I don't know, it's so hard, because I have friends where their parents told them that they couldn't do it, whatever, so they had to kind of wait until they completed their degree, and then they could finally do it once they left their home or whatever. But do you know what? I really don't know what to say to that, because everyone is in a different situation, and yeah, I honestly don't know how. I don't know how to say that, because it's not a case of where you say, "Oh, well, just do it," because I don't know what their situation is.
Thank you, Tiwa. Daniel, Joshua, any questions, or could we just have like an open room, more or less like everybody just, you know, asking questions about various things, just to keep the flow, you know, entertained, I guess.
Yeah,
Daniel?
yeah. It's more of like, it's not like a career question, yeah? So, like, do you listen to Afrobeats, like Nigerian songs?
Yeah.
Do I listen? Yeah, I do. Sorry, yeah, I do. And you know what? I only found a love for it really when I came to Nigeria, because I was because I'd start when I was going out to like clubs and bars and stuff, and weddings and parties, and they'll be putting on this music, and the way people are dancing. I was like, wow, I've been missing out. So yeah, no, I love Afrobeats.
Daniel and Pharaoh, I'll share a video of Tiwa dancing at a party in Nigeria when we get back to the platform. No, I'll share it with them.
No, but honestly, we want to actually enjoy our music. I think parties like weddings, yeah, they are like the best to get them. Especially the local ones like Yoruba and songs and everything. Yeah, honestly.
It's so. Do you know what's so funny is that I don't really go out much in the UK. Like, you won't really catch me going to like clubs and stuff during the weekend. I'm much more of a homebody. But when I went to Nigeria, I realized how much I really do like to party. It's just that here, a lot of people don't know how to dance. So when I went to Nigeria, I was like, wow, people know how to dance and they know how to party properly.
You know what I was actually thinking, Pharaoh and Daniel, that I haven't actually said? I was thinking one day we're going to have an open platform so we can just do a bit of dancing. So everybody gets to dance to the music, everybody chooses music and just dance. That's going to be fun. So Lou Tayo, oh yeah, why are you laughing? Of course we are. So Lou Tayo, do you have any questions?
Yes.
Oh, hi.
Can't dance.
Hi. How do you improve your acting skills?
How to improve your acting skills?
Yes.
Well, the thing is that during this time now, I can't go to any acting classes or rehearsals or anything. But I found just watching things, like watching TV series and films, has helped.
Okay. I have a question.
Okay.
What is hard about being an actor?
What's hard about being an actor?
Actress. Yeah.
What's hard? Do you know what? It's not even the acting that's hard. I mean, there's always a challenge within that as well. I think more it's just the industry and navigating the industry. That's what the hard bit is. I feel like when you get your part and you have a good director and whatnot, that's the easy part. But I think it's getting to the stage. That's what the challenge is.
Okay.
Deborah, do you have any questions? Ferami, do you have any questions?
I have a question.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Oh,
I can.
yeah. Tiwa, this is my friend, Antira Tiba. Okay, please go on.
Hello, Tiwa.
Hello, how are you?
How are you? Well, I'm so proud of you. The last time I saw you, you were a little girl, and amazed by all the achievements you have reached. And my question is, how or why did you first? What is the first time you first thought about being an actor and not a teacher like your parents or doctor or whatever? What made you think about that? That's what you have to do.
Yeah, do you know what? It all started like before I can remember. Like I always just wanted to perform in front of people, and I didn't even see it as a job then or something that would be a career. It was just something that I just loved to do. And it wasn't until as I was getting older, like I'd say around about 15, 16, that I actually started to think, wow, this can actually be a career. Like there's actually a plan that I need to put in set for me to achieve this.
Yeah. And your parents were okay with that? Yeah, great.
Yeah.
So that is a big boost. Yeah, that's great.
It's so
congratulations. Yeah.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Hi Tiwa, it's Jill, Tanya, another DIL ambassador. Sorry, my audio keeps cutting out. So my question to you would be, what sort of role model would you like to be?
Do you know what? I've been seeing, I mean, I'm sure you've seen like, as I said, I've just recently come off social media just because of everything that's going on at the moment, and it was just a bit too much for me, so I came off. But when I say that every other day on Twitter, when I go on to like what's trending, a celebrity is being cancelled over something, and it could be over something they said 10 years ago, or because of something they've let slip in an interview, or something that they've worn, or because of a role that they've picked to do in a film or theatre or whatever. And the media become like a jury, and then they cancel that celebrity. And I'm just so sick and tired of it. I mean, with some people, they definitely deserve it because they've come out as racist or homophobic or misogynistic or whatever. But a part of me then makes me realise that when people become successful to the point of where thousands or millions of people know them, they're automatically seen as a role model. And I'm not too sure necessarily that they wanted that for themselves. And I was watching, I've been watching The Last Dance on Netflix. It's about Michael Jordan and his time with the Chicago Bulls. And if for the people that don't know him, he was like seen as one of the greatest basketball players of our time. He was just he was amazing, and he said like he enjoys doing this, but he wants to just be known as an amazing athlete. He doesn't want people to know about his political views or, you know, what he ate for dinner that night. He just wants to go onto the court,
Right.
win the game, and then go home. And it really got me thinking, because I'm not too sure if it's healthy for people to see people as role models. I think there are certain aspects of people's life where you think, oh, I really like how they got there, or I like their work ethic or whatever. But to literally just see one person and hold them as being this perfect being, or like, I'm not sure if I'm making sense, but I think it's way too much pressure, because I make mistakes every single day, you know? I might say things that are stupid, or there might be some decisions that I make which I regret further on. And I would hate to think that someone would then be so disappointed in me because they held me up so highly, because I'm just a human being, you know? So I'm not too sure if I want people to see me as a role model. Yeah, I think that's way too much pressure.
Okay, I think one thing some people could do is hold themselves in as a role model, sort of, sorry. I suppose they could hold themselves as role models and measure themselves against their own progress. Then they're not competing against someone else and then pushing them down because they've succeeded themselves, but they're applauding them and thinking, I want to get better as well.
Yeah, no, I like that.
Thank you.
Okay.
Any more questions?
Yes, I have a question.
Fantastic. Is that Toby? You're back on?
Yes, it's me. Yes,
Okay,
me.
go on. Go on.
So Tiwa,
Mm-hmm.
why don't you want people like you said that you don't want people to know what Michael Jordan was eating? Is that
Did you just come on here to become a comedy artist?
Yes.
Why do you want to know what Jordan is eating? Oh dear me. Go
My
on.
daddy make it for me.
Pardon?
So that I can tell my dad to make it for me.
Okay, okay. He wants to eat like a champion. Tiwa, please answer him.
Okay. What I meant by that is in this day and age with social media, things are so easily accessible. Like, you post a picture to Twitter or Instagram or Facebook, whatever, and it should be seen by millions of people within. And I think sometimes with artists, they do that and they kind of lose that mystery. You know, for example, you might watch an actor in a film, and before you even see the character that they're trying to portray, you know, like, who they're married to, and then they've got into an argument, and how they've moved out to like their second LA mansion, and do you know what I mean? Like, you know too much of their lives, so that you don't enjoy the art anymore. You know, or it kind of blurs what they're trying to do. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
Thank you. Thanks, Toby.
Yeah.
Thank you. Ferami Arije, are you there? Ferami Arije, because we've got two Feramis on the line. Ferami, would you like to ask a question?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, go on, baby. Do you have a question for Tiwa?
No, I'm okay.
Okay.
No, I'm okay.
Okay, babe, that's okay. Does anybody else have a question?
I do.
Go on, Tayo.
how do you pull off all the work that you have to do?
That's a good question. For me, I really love writing I love writing to-do lists down. And the reason why I like writing to-do lists down is because when I achieve something, I can cross it off. And that just gives me like a little bit of a tingly sensation for me to do the next thing so that I can cross that off. There's just something about it for me. So usually, even during this time, which has been so hard to be motivated to do anything, at the beginning of the day, I'll write a list of things. And then through the day, I cross them off. And that's what's been helping me. And that's for even bigger things as well. But like, sometimes at the beginning of the year, I'll write like, a 2020 plan, and I'll write things, and then through the year, I can cross them off. And I think that's what helps me to stay on track.
Great.
Thank you so much. Rosie, you might need to round this up because we've only got a minute to
Yeah.
go.
Thank you so much for your questions, everyone. It was really nice, and I think we might have to stop the call quickly now as we only have about a minute left, so I don't want it to just cut off. So thank you everyone for the questions. Thank you everyone for listening, and especially thank you Tiwa for coming on. It was wonderful, and I'm sure everyone else was really excited for the call. So yeah, I think we'll all say our byes, and then yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.